not a podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Jordan G. Welch, and I'm here with another episode of the Playbook. But this time we're talking about the background vocals, and I have here with me Priestley Johnson and Sandrel Wells, who were both two of the vocalists that you heard on the album One. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yay,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Excited.
I'm excited.
Right.
The background blend is just a piece of heaven on earth when it comes to the six ladies that were on the record. And I'm just so thankful that you all were available. You know, you do this for a living. This is not small potatoes to have you on the album, to have you doing anything background related. So very, very thankful that you all agreed to be a part of
Listen,
this experience with little old me.
Thank you.
honor for me.
Yeah,
Just saying.
same.
So why don't you like give a little context into how long you've been doing this? You know, why you started doing background vocals. You know, tell the people who you are.
You can go first.
All right. So I've been singing all my life, really, but professionally, I would say my career began about 10 years ago. My first major gig, long term gig, was with Monica. So I started traveling with her for 8 years. So a combination of gospel and R&B, but I just fell in love with it. And I think for me, I enjoy supporting. Like I enjoy someone else being out in the front and just playing my position in the back because support is important. So I love it. I've been doing it for a while and I don't plan to stop anytime soon.
Amen, amen, amen.
Yeah. So for me, pretty much the same. I have been singing all of my life. My dad took me in the studio for the first time when I was 3, but like officially, I guess, sort of started like doing BGVs like in the studio when I was maybe 10, 11. And so, I pretty much grew from there. And I knew like way, way back then that was something that I just loved to do, like sing background. Wasn't trying to be in the forefront or anything like that. And so, I'm just, now grateful for every opportunity that I have to be able to do what I love. So, yeah.
I love that.
Likewise.
So for one, a lot of work went into it for sure.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to help people see is how much work goes into it, especially as a background vocalist. You are not just picking up a mic and singing. As we were talking before we started recording, it's not open mic night or karaoke. There's a lot of thought and execution and preparation that goes into this. So when you all, got the call, said, yes, I'm going to do this, got the music, whatever have you, tell us what your mindset was and your approach was to learning the music, to, just being a part of the experience. What was your approach?
Well, I think for me, one of the things that I really loved was that we went to DC first.
Yeah.
Like
That
it
was a trip.
wasn't
That was a
My
trip.
favorite.
it wasn't
Yes.
like, hey, will you do this recording?
Right.
Here's the music, learn it. I'll see you at the first rehearsal.
Yes.
No, it was like, hey, we're going to DC.
Yes.
You're gonna learn to you, like you're gonna
Yes.
practice to yourself, and I
Yourself.
appreciated that.
Oh my
Learning
God, yes.
on the spot in the studio. These are the parts.
Yes.
And then being able to sit with that for a month was it was good. I like that part.
Yeah, I, if
that
you
part.
can't tell, I absolutely love that part. Like, the
nobody-
fact, like, what's better than studying yourself? Like, we were literally in a session learning the songs
Yeah.
and, and just even the details that you gave us with it. You remember we got our folders with
mean,
the
with
lyrics?
with the
Yes!
flowers.
With the lyrics?
Yes, because I'm gonna tell you, for me, when I'm learning lyrics, that's part of the job, right?
Yeah.
You're hired not just to sing, but you're hired to remember.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm a writer though. Like I have to write out words sometimes twice, but with them already given to us.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, this is cute.
Right. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I love that. And then when I'm telling others just like the details of what you told us that you wanted, that was just everything to me. Like going almost like literally word by word or phrase by phrase saying, hey, this is how I wanted this. Like that means a lot because that it's almost like that's less work for us because we don't have to figure it out because you're telling us what you want. And so that to me that made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
I agree.
A lot easier.
DC was a time.
Yes, it was.
But hearing it from you all's standpoint is even helpful to me. I went with the idea of going to DC because a lot of times, especially when you're in the church sphere, right? When it comes to things that we're so used to doing, we don't always approach new things with excellence right out the gate, right? And so when we find ourselves in familiar spaces, we're like a bit nonchalant about how we're going to do it because we can do it in our sleep, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
So taking it, for people who don't know, which is basically everybody, we went to the very first rehearsal for the album was in DC, and we did a rehearsal in a studio as opposed to a church or a place that's very common to all of us.
Yes.
We went into the studio, and my mindset was to make sure that the environment had a more positive and intentional influence on how we approach the work. And so when we're in the studio, because we had to watch this even in the overdubs, when you're in the studio, you have this like different mentality, almost like not rigid, but you come with your A game in the studio.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you have
You
to.
can't slack in the
Gotcha.
studio because everything is picked up, right?
Yes.
And so that was my thought was to, okay, let's get in the studio. You can hear yourselves for sure. You can hear the detail behind what we're recording, but also like you have more of the bigger picture then and early versus, you know, where most recordings have their rehearsals the week of. It's not going to happen here. that was not the game at all.
For that.
We were not doing that. So I didn't even think about the fact that you're like practicing to yourself. I'm thinking you're practicing to the detail that a studio would capture so that you could have, you know, the bigger picture early on.
But that's the
I didn't think
thing.
about that.
You gave us all of that, so we captured that. I feel like even in the rehearsal, and that's how it was easy to just become one with it. No pun intended, but pun intended.
Yeah.
It's embedded in us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I know the swell right here because that's what we recorded. You know?
Exactly.
I know the pull here or do vibrato here because that's what was given to us. You know. So yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
So we did rehearse early. We started about a month and a half.
I love that.
A month and a half
I
early.
love that.
Yes.
You had time to sit with the music. What was your thought when you started to really hear everything together? Because we got together with the band late February, right? So what was your take on, I guess now I have real music, I have my singing sisters with me, almost game time.
I just knew we were gonna have a time, and I was just like, I'm. What are we gonna do? Because honestly, I think "Forever Yahweh" was the first song that like snatched me up, and I was like, well, what are we gonna do on the night of? Because you know, and then having to focus on our part, right, as a BGB, because that means we have to pay attention to you, but we cannot pay attention to you at all because we have to do what we're doing. So, and that's what's going on in my mind. Like, what are we gonna do? You know, because we have to minister these songs as they're ministering to us.
Yes.
You know, but we got to keep it going because it's a recording.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and for me, like you said, so pretty much what you're saying is like how I was feeling, like meditating on the songs, like really dissecting them and allowing them to minister to me first so that I can do my part in the ministry, you know, not just singing, but ministering them to the people as well, because you know that's what this was all about. I know we have our skill of, you know, doing the background part, but ministry is just as important as well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the way, like she said, the way that they just, oh my God, spoke to me. Mine was, your life is not in vain. Like,
Beatitudes.
oh
Yeah.
my God. The way I was just like, that's the one that hit for me, where I was just like, oh yeah, you gotta get yourself together, because you cannot
together.
lose it.
But
Like,
why? So talk about why that's like, why do you feel that tension, if you will, between I want to flip this stage over
Oh my God.
versus I have to have a level of professionalism that keeps my presentation like in lockstep.
it's just, I feel like God just knows what you need, like, and when you need it. And so it's just like the timing of it for me was just everything. Like, yeah, the timing of it was everything. And so just like those simple words at that time for me, and even now, just like, just being reminded, hey, your life is not in vain. You're here for a purpose. You know, the call that God has put on your life, you know, just all of that. It's, yeah. And again, that's just like one particular song, but all of them really, honestly, you know, just ministered and just really like letting them resonate, you know, to a point where you're just like, okay, I have it. It's in my spirit. And I feel like when we start to record, I won't lose it, you know? Like,
Well,
I've cried all my tears.
let
I've
me
I've
tell you
done all
something.
of that. You know, so I'll be okay on
I
the
was
night
trying
of.
to keep it together. Listen, it was tough.
It really was.
It was tough
Yes.
keeping it, you know. But I think it's what you said. It's that line of professionalism.
Yes.
You have to, you know, because otherwise you could have gotten anybody. You know, you
Yeah.
could have called anybody you wanted to call.
Yeah.
You know, but you called us, so it's like, okay, you called for a reason. So professionalism is key. However, yes, I do
Comma.
want to flip this stage over. I do,
Because-
because it's real. And I think, you know, but to not feel that,
Yeah.
to me, would be it would be doing your project an injustice. It would just be fake.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be authentic at all.
Yeah.
If we didn't feel anything that
Exactly.
we were singing or you know, trying to convey or connect with somebody out there, it wouldn't be worth it. But we had a time.
Yes, we did.
We had a time.
Oh,
It was,
my God.
it was
Episode, we
good.
had a time.
It was good. It
So
was
talk to
good.
the people a little bit more about like mechanics. So one of the things I absolutely love about all 6 of y'all is you just have this blend that is unmatched. Like, I had only been singing with you two for a short amount of time. I was singing with the other ladies for all 4 of them together for the last year and a half. The others 3 years and longer, right? And so I am absolutely meticulous about putting vocals together and about making sure that blend is crisp. Talk about first off, what was it like when you first heard all of y'all together?
Oh my
Insane.
God.
But then again, because you all do this professionally, what are some of the technicalities and mechanisms you had to use to make sure that you know, stayed in lockstep with people you've never sung with before, but somehow sound like y'all been singing since in the beginning was the word and the word was with God.
So I'll say, when I was in high school, my high school chorus teacher drilled blending. Like, that was a thing. If you can't blend, you can get out of my classroom.
Basically.
Like, if you can't blend, you can't sing. She literally taught me that you need to be able to sing with anyone, anywhere, at any time. And so it's just been a thing for me. So, you know, the technique of that, it's like, if I'm standing here and Sandrel is over there and Shanae is over there, we should still be able to sound like one person.
Yeah.
You know, so that's been drilled in me since high school, really.
Yeah.
And so now, I mean, it's just kind of, well, I can't say it just happens. Sometimes it does take more effort because maybe not everyone has that same thought process or has that same mentality. It does take practice. But when you're with people who can sing,
Yeah.
it makes it easy. It makes it fun. It does make a difference.
Right.
You know. So, yeah, I was pretty blown though, because
Yeah.
I never met anyone, never sang with any of them. So, yeah, the blend was dope.
It really
The blend was
was.
dope.
Like, you already know how I feel.
Yes.
About
Your actual vocal twin.
my
Yeah.
vocal
To the
twin.
T. Yeah,
now that-
Like,
To
Yeah.
the T.
that was so scary. Like, that was my reaction. Like, literally, I remember we were in the studio and we started singing, I guess, the first song. And I looked over at her like, are you singing? Like, because there is no way that we sound this much alike. Like, I'm still blown to this day. Like, the way you matched. And it's just like,
Right.
it just tells, I guess, the detail that you thought about. Like, in even choosing everyone that you chose. It's just, yeah, it just goes back to you. Like,
I gotta give y'all kudos
Circle
because
back to you.
women tenors are gems, like just gems. And you and Camille have this rich tone that's my favorite, especially at the bottom, right? Erica Campbell's the same way. Even when she does her head voice, it's like, Lord, you did your good thinking when you put this one together. Right? So you two, I mean, oh my gosh, the way you all even approached the low notes was like, ain't nobody touching this. Ain't nobody touching this. Nope. So I was blown away at how much bringing you two on enhanced the sound even more. Like, just made it like such a rich dream. I just love that. So, hearing everybody all together, putting some of those dynamics together. One of the songs, Beatitudes, was written for a while. Before I even thought to do a live recording. It was just a song that I'm like, I feel like something should happen with this. And so when we were doing Your Life Is Not in Vain, I'm like, I cannot wait until these ladies put something on it. Because you as a vocal arranger, as my own BGVist, right? I always hear myself. And so when you hear your ideas translated through different voices, that just changes the game. Wow. So I really appreciate, first off, the amount of detail that y'all gave and thought through when it came to how you were going to execute. But then also just your natural voices that just enhanced the sound and made it top-notch quality.
wow.
Top-notch quality. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That being said, there's the overdub process, right? So we sang live a time.
Yes.
But then it was time to also, I would say polish it, but just, make sure that everything was in lockstep for the night, because y'all singing once, phenomenal. But we have, in my mind, we're going to add to it so as to make sure that we have the right detail captured, because how we sound live is totally different than how we sound
For sure.
in a studio, right?
Yes.
So what were some of the things that you all had to prepare for as a part of the overdub process?
I'll say to deliver the same energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because, you can go in the studio and you're like, in the headspace of, okay, I'm in the studio. But then when you are, doing overdubs for a live recording, you have to deliver the same energy. Because you can go in the studio and be subtle and, like, I have my part or I have this, but the energy not be there, and so, or the dynamic and all of that. So, you have to go in with that mindset of, hey, I'm at the live recording. Like, I'm back at that night. So, that's what it was for me.
I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure that we deliver that same intensity, the whole time. Because now that the live event is over, it's like, okay, so that anxiety has been released. That part of the work is done. but the work is not really done.
Yeah.
You know, so I agree.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Now, there were some things that occurred that night that we hadn't planned for.
Yes. Oh my God. 24 tracks on this album. He ain't got but 5 songs. It's
Several
Oh my
surprises. And so, one of which, right, being Let Your Praise.
Ugh, yeah.
A whole separate series that I'm doing called The Crazy Thing Is. That particular song was not planned in any way, shape, or form. We had 4 to 6 rehearsals, and not one of them included Let Your Praise. We had, so many things pop up at the last minute.
Yes.
What are you all using for what you know in your gifts to be prepared for something like that? Like, y'all are literally, we get done singing, we have come into this house. And next thing you know, we get a message from the command center saying, hey, you got to keep going.
Right.
Talk about, like, what did you, as a professional BGVS, as someone that is musically inclined, knows their scales, all of that, what were you pulling on to stay tapped into the moment without looking like, oh my God,
Everything.
what is
Yes,
happening?
everything.
All of that, what you just said.
Right. Because it's like me, I know I was telling myself, okay, nobody else can hear what we're hearing in our
Exactly.
ears. So keep a
Did we
straight
get the
face.
message too? I don't remember. Did we get it?
I don't know.
I don't know if we heard
remember
it.
either.
Ooh.
But if we, I guess I'm playing it as if, like, say if we did, then I know in my mind I would have been like, okay, no one else can hear what we're hearing. So keep a straight face, as if, everything's normal, everything.
Yep.
But at the same time, pay attention to what Jordan is doing, what she's saying, see what she wants.
Yep.
Does she want, are we all singing one part? Are we going into 3? Like, literally all these things are going in your head while you're standing there smiling or standing there, all of that.
Yep.
And I feel like people, they may not know. All of that is happening, like, literally in your head while you're up there, like, keeping a straight face, but you're really trying to make sure everything flows as it should. So,
Yeah, because they don't know. They don't know what we've rehearsed and what we haven't. We're clueless right now. We don't know what's happening. But that's what we have to do. Tap in, pay attention.
Yes.
Are we singing in unison? Are we singing in parts? Lock in with the people next to you, so
Exactly.
you don't lose the sound, so you
Yep.
don't lose the blend, you don't lose, what's happening in the moment, because again, still you want it to be a real moment.
Yep.
Not
Ministry.
just the sound guys trying to
right, exactly.
figure it out. But we really do want praise to fill the room.
We do. We really do.
We do.
We really do.
We do. And that was a delicate balance, both with planning, being in the moment for sure, is how do we make sure that the primary purpose is the worship night that happens to be recorded, but you still approach it as if you intended to record it. Like,
that's
not
good,
just,
yeah.
oh, hey, like, we happen to capture the stream
Right.
in individual tracks that you can mix, master, and put out as an album. Like, nah, we intentionally went into it as recording. So all of these spontaneous moments were just like, my biggest fear was I don't want to stop. Like, I just don't want to have to redo anything.
Yeah.
And thank God the one time we did made sense when we did. But at the end of the day, it's how do we keep these moments true? How do we stay professional, of course? How do we make sure that we're doing our part? But then also, how do we be free enough to show the people, yes, it's a live recording. Yeah, you see a bunch of cameras all over the place, special lights, special this and that. But, like, we are here to worship.
Exactly.
So, when Priestley
All right.
spun around, he spun around during All Things New, I said,
God.
yes,
Let me
Lord.
tell you something, because he makes all things new.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Listen. Oh my God.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny in that moment, or maybe it happened right after that. But Sinead just did one of these numbers. She said, "You okay?" And I'm like, trying to keep it together. I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay." Let me tell you.
God.
Just
So priceless.
Listen,
Yeah,
I
man.
know I was up there, like, just every break or whatever that we got, I was just taking deep breaths, because I was like, oh God, you have got to keep me together up here. Like, you have to, because I just want to lay out on the floor.
Lay out. Yeah.
I just want to lay out. Like, please help me, please. You know, so.
I'm so glad we did flats that night, and we
Yes.
didn't try to be all extra cute.
Oh my
Everybody
God.
right now.
Yes.
I wouldn't have made it. Somebody's shoes coming off.
Right,
Started with mine.
everybody.
Yeah. And the audience too, though, like they were
Oh my
really
God, yes.
engaged, and that helped. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
There was a
great.
special moment with them that I didn't even hear until well after everything was said and done. But the purpose of using the room that we did was for that whole natural surround sound feel. How did you all, if you did, how did you leverage them to even position yourselves for what you needed to do as background vocalists? Because yes, there was the stage, but it was really supposed to be a communal affair. And so how did you balance yourself even in that moment too? Like, okay, I'm feeding them, yet feeding off of them to feed them, to feed off, like, because it's not the same in the studio. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know what there are live recordings that happen with secular artists, but like there is so much that goes into doing work for the kingdom. It's like you don't just pick up a mic and go. Like there is an approach to it as if it's not for the kingdom, because there's an excellence to it. There's a level to it that's like, okay, I'm going to treat this in a way that does have a bit of, rigid approach, but then I'm also free because
you're singing for Jesus.
Yeah. So what was that balance like for y'all with the congregation choir?
It was different, but in a good way. I had never been there before, never been in that room. So it was different to have people like behind us. But again, the energy that they were giving, it was like, okay, the push we need to push you.
Yep.
It just, I don't know, it just worked.
It did. And I was just so happy to see that people really came in for one purpose and one purpose only. And that was to worship one God. You know, like they came in with the heart. They didn't come in to spectate.
Yeah.
Because, you see that a lot
Yep.
in not even just live recordings, but concerts and, anything, sort of like in the gospel community. It's like, people come to see, okay, what are you about to do? But it's like everyone came with the heart, like of worship, like, hey, we know what we're here for.
Yep.
And, and like she said, it gave us the push. It encouraged me, honestly, seeing the people out there worshiping, had their hands raised, singing along, catching on quickly, because you had the lyrics on the screens, which was great as well. So, just everyone getting involved and it being, just everyone on one accord.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And then too, I would say just the atmosphere being set before we did anything.
Yeah.
The prayers that went up, the scriptures that were read. It's like, okay, if we gonna know if you didn't come for one reason, we gonna know.
Right.
We gonna be able to tell.
Right.
Yes.
But I mean, we were almost messed up during prayer before we even started singing. So
Oh
like,
my God.
yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
we have a recording to do.
Right.
I'm in this corner losing it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, question, as if I haven't been asking questions already. What was your favorite song when you first got the music, when we recorded that night, and then when we did overdubs?
That's not fair.
God. Yeah.
It could be the same song. It could be the same song all the way
Not
through.
fair.
But, the evolution of the music and then the actual album. Which one did you say, oh, yeah, I know I'm going to like this one? And then we record it, and it's like, oh, no, I like this one, too.
I don't even think that's fair.
It's not.
I really don't, for real.
Now I'm really having to think. Because this is a non-skip album, so it's like.
It's a
What am I-
non-skip
Yeah.
album.
No, we didn't
What
go.
am
I mean, yes, the plan is to always have non-skippable music. Amen.
Yeah.
But no, I guess it was the plan to have. I mean, it was supposed to be a flow. Don't get me wrong. It was supposed to be a flow. It did not. I didn't think it'd become 20 songs. I was like,
See?
pretty sure it'd be 10.
See?
Really thought it was gonna be 8,
Oh,
but then
yeah,
added
no.
satisfied at the last minute.
Yeah,
It was just
no.
like, yeah, 9 to 20, got it. But yeah, I know I have mine. I'll wait till y'all answer.
Oh my God.
Okay, so again, Forever Yahweh, Snatch Me First.
Sure.
And it was just the worthy you were.
Mm-hmm.
Worthy you are.
Yes.
And worthy you will be forever. When I think about that, I think about my life, of course, and those who have come and gone before me. But I think about my children, you know, generations coming after me.
Yeah.
Still worthy. Still worthy.
Yeah.
And will be forever. But when I play the album, like, just to listen, it's just non-skippable. I'm like, wow,
That's
I
what
like
I'm
that
saying.
song too.
I like that one. I like that
I like this one too. Like, I can't say I have a favorite. I really can't. Beatitudes, I mean,
Yes.
the way you and Jean.
Oh my God.
I'm just
What?
like, okay. Because again, the night of, we can't really listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We
no.
can't
Yeah.
hear, you know, the things that everyone else heard. So now we're getting a chance to, like,
Exactly.
just put on repeat, you know, and hear all the things. So
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite. I'm sorry. I don't have a favorite. I love them all.
Yeah.
All right.
For me, of course, like I said, it was Beatitudes. Your life is not in vain. Like, that really, oh my God, that really ministered to me. The night of, it was Throne. Just, I guess even like standing there singing the song and really seeing, I guess, the approach that we're taking towards it. I don't think I realized that until, you know, you sort of saw the reactions of the people. Of course, again, we're ministering, but then, like, even seeing the reaction of the people, you know, we've been singing this and we've been rehearsing it.
Yep.
And so we're not thinking that we're being as detailed as we are.
Sure.
But then when you see the reaction, it's like, you're like, oh, whoa, like, wait, what are, you know, I guess I was thinking, like, what are we doing? You know, you know, I'm trying to think, you know, and seeing their reactions. And so I was like, wow, like, this song, there's a lot of, like, I guess, detail in the nuances and stuff that we were doing. So that did it for me the night of. And like we're saying now, I don't have anything.
How
now.
much
It's
more did
all-
something for me too? The night
Yes.
because
Oh my God.
we didn't practice that either. The little tag. We did the song.
Never Gonna Let Me Down.
Never Gonna Let Me
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did not. We, in fact, it was the Wednesday, the day before dress rehearsal, that I added that in.
Because you were like,
yeah.
so by the way.
I did, because I turned to Brian. I said, "Hey, follow this melody." And I said, "Ladies,
Yes.
let's add this." The energy in that, that one surprised me. That one
Really?
actually, because the whole room at one point was jumping,
Yes.
and I'm like,
Yes.
okay, here we go. But Throne also surprised me because you don't know with live recordings what the response is going to be. Like, people don't know the music, and so what you don't know, you tend to observe and kind of take in first before you figure out if it's worth an emotional reaction. So when y'all first sang "You Are Holy,"
Yeah.
I said,
I heard that reaction.
Yeah, I did too. That's why I was like,
They like it.
oh,
You
yeah.
did good.
Wait. It's
Missing
like,
the
okay. Yeah, definitely.
that was one that I was like, okay. I think going in was for me, I definitely loved Beatitudes. Like, that was just without question. And when we did the vocal rehearsal, That's the one that I kept playing, like from the Dropbox.
Yeah, me
That
too.
one I kept playing.
Me too.
One was cool. One was always going to be a good song for me because it was the title
Of
track,
course.
right?
Yeah.
But Beatitudes, I went in like, yep, this is going to be the one. The night of All Things New. Because I was like, what's happening? Because I couldn't quite tell how the people were receiving it at first. But then we get to that, I'm no longer the same.
Oh, Jesus.
See what I'm saying?
Who I want to flip the stage?
Oh my God, that just took me back. Literally, I was like, "Oh wait, I just had to keep myself together." It's just
about
like,
it.
oh my God.
Jelani did that bass drop, and I said, "Whoop!"
Yes.
Literally quickened out loud. I said, "This is
No longer the
who
same.
this have be a lot."
Oh my God.
Have be a lot. That was the one for me that night for sure. And now that it's all like said and done, I mean, it's a fair statement. I don't have a particular favorite, but if I do want to just listen to something that's not too slow or not too fast, Beatitudes is still the one that I'll listen to for sure. It took a minute for me to like settle in with Good Company.
Gotcha.
Really?
It did. It took a minute for me to settle in with that because first off, it was amazing in the vocal rehearsal. We're still trying to figure out the music. How is it really going to lock in? And then, of course, it's a part of the choir rehearsal piece. So I'm like, okay, when am I going to be okay with this one? When am I going to feel like this is like done? And so I was like, help me, Jesus. How do we make this work? And I was nervous to have it be the choir rehearsal song, but it was the only other fast song we had. So it was like, okay, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it works.
Yeah, it does.
It works.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess the I guess sort of like the reprises of the song. So like one.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
my
Net
God.
Satisfied, that
Yes.
wasn't out at first. And
Shout
so
out to the reprises.
yes, exactly. So that's why, that's why I guess I'd say, I don't have a favorite because it's like there's
No.
something to all of them.
Agreed.
Something to all of them.
I agree.
Well, get ready for round 2. Whenever that would be.
Oh, I love it. Let's go.
Yeah, listen.
Let's go.
Again, I appreciate everything that you all brought to the table. Not just your gifts, but your personalities. Like, it's really, it's a lot of investment, period, for recordings, projects, anything that anyone is creating. And then when you bring other people in, there's a specific synergy that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to work for it. And sometimes you're blessed to not have to do anything at all and just let it be. And that's what you all were.
Wow.
Just adding you all to the other 4 ladies. It was like, man, please, forever. just please. Just let me pocket them all forever.
Well, you know what? To that, I say that goes both ways.
It does. It really
You know what I mean?
does.
Because when you do it for
Yes.
a living and you've done it for a while,
You
some
have
artists don't make it easy. You
have
made it easy.
experiences.
Amen.
You
have
made it easy to come in and just make it work. And so thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank
Definitely.
you. Yeah. I was honored. I knew. I saw that text. I said, yep. I'm going. I'm doing that.
Listen, when you asked me, I think I was like, are you like really?
Right.
I think that's what, and so I was just like, yeah, but I'm like, what? So, yeah. Yeah. definitely.
Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. I said, Lord, please send.
It was an honor, man.
Yeah,
For real.
it really was.
For real.
It really was.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sandrel and Priestley, 2 of the most amazing singers and amazing ladies that were a part of the One Experience. Absolutely appreciate everything that they brought to the table, brought to the album, bring to this world. And so, again, if you do not know what we're talking about, there is an album out there called One. Live in Atlanta by me, Jordan G. Welch. These lovely ladies sang background on it. It is available everywhere. Download it. Purchase it. All the places in which it's available. Spread the word, whatever you got to do. But the whole intent is for the whole world to hear and celebrate and worship the one true and living King. So One, live in Atlanta. Jordan G. Welch. Thank you, ladies, for being a part of the Playbook.
Yeah.
Literally, and, as we do this. Y'all stay tuned for more episodes. There's so much more to share about the intentionality behind one and why every person involved had a very specific assignment that only made it just what you hear as you listen to the record. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
Love you too.
Until next time.